All right, so we'll have to pass the mics around and share a little bit here. We are going to take some questions at the end, so whether it's tactics, whether it's craziness, degenerate stuff, whatever you want to get into, we will. Yes, anything can happen.
Do I get one veto?
No, you don't get any vetoes. Jon had to answer what vegetable he would be once.
An aubergine?
I think he said a fruit, actually, so, it's no surprise. So we will do questions here at the end, but what we're going to go with here, for those of you who listen to Atlanta Soccer Tonight, Monday nights on 92.9 The Game at 11 o'clock, or download it on the Off the Woodwork podcast, I always end the show with the 3-4-3. Now, we're going to break rules and change the numbers up a little bit, but the 3-4-3, it's always 3 local stories, and the local story right now is obviously the game tomorrow. 4 headlines you need to know about, things that I see in the world of soccer that I want to talk about, and then 3 things that make you smile about the game that we're all here talking about. So we're going to start with the headlines, and I want everybody who's on the show to whatever is their big soccer headline right now. It can be local, it can be domestic, it can be international, whatever is on your mind. And Jarrett's doing a scary dance right now that I'm afraid to hand him a microphone. Let's start with Jon and see where he goes with this. So your headline of the moment, Jon Nelson.
Headline of the moment has to do with the playoffs overseas. In what country is that?
England.
Thank you. It's some of the best.
Jess doesn't know about this. Jon always wants to talk about the most random things from the English leagues, and he would always bring it up like out of nowhere. So I would get frustrated with that because I didn't follow the 3rd division in England, and I would say England.
See, now Jess and I are going to have to, considering what happened.
I said 3rd division intentionally, yes.
Yeah. Reading got relegated, so she's going to be talking 3rd division soccer next
Don't
year.
forget Albion, Nick.
Which Albion, sir?
There's an Albion and Albion, all of it. So what is it? Go ahead and tell us about the lower division playoffs.
For those of you that want to watch some of the coolest playoffs that are out there, in League 2 and League 1 and the championship over the next week or so, you're going to see 2-leg semifinals and finals about teams that will get the next stage of their football playing lives determined with promotion relegation playoffs that are happening in League 2, League 1. So if you happen to subscribe to the Plus, or know somebody that does, and maybe you can get their password or something, not condoning or endorsing. But if you got stuff, watch the playoffs in League 1, League 2, and the championship to see who gets to take that next step up to the Premier League, who gets to take that next step up to League 1, and who comes up just short. They're like a goal short, and, you get that mad dash at the end. So viewing recommended, the lower division playoffs in
England.
Thank you.
All right, first, I have one question for you, Jon. You have to have an answer here. You can't sit on the fence. Does Wrexham get promoted out of League 2?
Yes.
That fast?
Yes.
Financial fair play.
Yeah. League 2.
I mean.
In folks that I've talked to, the level of play in League 2 and the National League is about the same, so I could see it. Absolutely.
That was the conversation we had at the bar. Yeah, I'm with you. I think
Absolutely.
They do. Okay.
There you go.
Headline, Jarrett Smith. What is it?
It's not even Scotland. So no, you're
what?
wrong. That's coming later.
Okay. I can't do a voice for Scotland. I'm afraid of them.
Scotland's too degenerate of a league. It's actually Sergio Busquets. Just 18 years done, and it's a weird ending of an era that goes almost 20 years, and it's going to be very weird watching a game without seeing him on the field playing in the same shirt for almost 20 years. And I feel like we don't see it that often in really any sport, especially in the modern day of soccer. 18 years with a club, and now it's going to end, and it's going to be weird.
I don't know if anybody else will ever do that again, honestly.
It was the same thing with when Chipper Jones left Atlanta. When Chipper Jones was with Atlanta for that long. Busquets leaving after one club for that long, I don't know if we do or not. And it's special, and I think it should be recognized more broadly.
Busquets doesn't get enough respect. Does he play for Miami next?
No. Can they get a fourth DP?
I don't think.
Will the new USL commissioner approve it?
Probably. Yeah, probably. He'll go to the Miami FC. Yes. Jess, what's your headline of the moment?
Injuries are going to cost England the Women's World Cup.
Really?
I was feeling very cocky. I'll be blunt. I was feeling very, very cocky that England was going to kick some American ass.
Wow.
I'm just being real here. Then we lose Leah Williamson. Then we lose Fran Kirby. And the injuries just keep piling and piling up for the Lionesses. And I'm starting to feel like tea may be drunk in a mocking way again.
See, I think this is the most wide open Women's World Cup in the history of the tournament.
Oh, it's going to be bloody brilliant.
Everyone gets more wide open. This one, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm thinking back, like, okay, 2007 was wide open because you had the dynamic of travel. 2011 was wide open because of the quality of the tippy top quality of teams. Japan, Brazil, USA.
A small number of teams, but
right.
wide open among that small
Among that
number.
small
And
group.
Japan had the best generation ever for them.
Exactly.
That team was a joy to watch.
Now, I think because of the expansion of the tournament and just how much Europe has caught up and how South
Investment.
America is starting to catch up, and the dynamic of having to go all the way to New Zealand, and the injuries, including, unfortunately, to the United States women's national team, I could see the U.S. out in the round of 16. I could see them winning it all.
Yeah. Same with England.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, same thing.
I cannot wait for this tournament. It's my second favorite tournament of them all, next to the Men's World Cup. I love it more than the Euros. I love it more than the Gold Cup. I love the Women's World Cup. It is a tremendous month.
Shameless plug. We'll be talking about it a lot. I have a feeling.
Spoiler alert.
With Jason and Jack.
Atlanta Soccer tonight will have World Cup editions going on during the Women's World Cup. The schedule's a little harder than it was even with Qatar. That was really difficult at times for us.
When I was in England, I think I woke up at 4 a.m. to record.
Did. You did. It was. Oh yeah. Well, Bart's insane.
Bart,
that'll
are you
happen.
going?
Come on.
Wow. Oh man.
That'll happen. We will for Atlanta Soccer tonight. We will have a correspondent over in, and it's not Bart actually, because he scares me sometimes. It'll be Luke Winstall who will be on with us. He is over there as part of a UGA program, so he'll be covering the tournament. We will do some live shows around the U.S. games, so stay tuned. We're kind of figuring out how all the time zones and all of it is going to work for us. But
a lot of coffee.
We will do some for sure. We will absolutely be covering the Women's World Cup in a deep way at 92.9 and with Atlanta Soccer tonight. So, okay, if England's not going to win it, Jess, who wins it?
I'm trying to make friends, so I'm going to say USA. Yay!
I don't think the U.S. wins it. I
Saying
honestly
it through
don't.
gritted teeth.
No, I don't think the U.S. wins it. I hope they do, but I don't think that they do.
Traitor.
I told you because we watched the semifinal in 19 together, and that game, England outplayed the U.S.
Penalty.
The U.S. was
kick.
fortunate to get through. And then they played a team that, if I'm picking a team that could win it this year, the Dutch. Spain would be a pick if Spain had all of their players. They've got a lot of different issues with that federation and the program. But, man, the Dutch are talented.
How do you feel about if everyone comes back and if everybody's playing as friends? The French.
You're asking a lot for the French to be
That's
friendly
very
with
messy.
one another, Jarrett.
That's a messy scenario.
I don't know about that.
This is just a French thing. If we line up the railgun correctly, we can beat anybody. But if we don't, it's going to blow up and the shrapnel's going to go everywhere.
When they've
That's
already
just French.
smacked each other over the head with said nail gun, I just don't think it happens in this tournament. Yeah. They are. They're very talented.
They're just nuts.
I'd love to see the U.S. do it. If the U.S. does it, we're going to be talking about Julie Ertz being an absolutely insane athlete because I think she's got to play at that level for the U.S. to win it. All right, Nick, your headline. I'm a little afraid after a result this week what this is going to be, but if you want to go ahead, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's
Are you sure?
economic. Yeah, it's all about economics here. Okay.
right.
Sampdoria is probably going to get relegated, and they're also going to go bankrupt, which is, for one of the northern Italian teams, very rare because there's a tremendous amount of financial investment up in the north. So it's going to be interesting to see who steps up to buy Sampdoria, because the stadium's beautiful, the location in Genoa is going to be absolutely spectacular. So who steps up to buy them, because it's going to happen. Outside of the tourist triangle could be tough. So who's going to buy Sampdoria?
Should we start a GoFundMe?
$5 here. $5.
It's a GoFundMe. Who wants to buy Sampdoria in Genoa with me?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We can do it.
Mike, can you call games in Italian?
Oh, yeah, Forza. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
You got that. I don't have that.
My last name ends in a vowel. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I can barely call games in English, let alone Italian. Come on, man. No way. No,
Nick, what would the Italian fans say if Mike said boom Yakimakis? I need that in Italian, please.
You gotta understand something. So my family's from Piemonte. So if I did that, I'd probably get shipped down to like Sicily or like,
whoa, 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 oh boy. I gotta leave.
Hear me out. I have no dog in this fight. No dog in this fight. I just, it's been communicated to me that members of my northern Italian family bear some hostility towards that part of the country. But I'm neutral, we're good. I managed to piss off 2 people on the panel tonight now. Jeez. Sorry.
That was amazing. Yeah. That's why I love this segment.
No, absolutely.
Unintentional comedy.
Yeah, no, that was very unintentional.
Okay, now that Nick is ready to fight, what's your headline?
I loved it. The hair trigger on MLS managers. I thought Chicago made a colossal mistake this week in sacking Ezra Hendrickson. I thought Red Bulls were overdue in sacking Gerhard Struber.
Yep.
But 2 very different scenarios. And I think it just shows again, I don't understand what Chicago is doing, because they seem to be committed to something that is starting to work, but Chicago now gets impatient and sacks a manager that I thought had them on the right track. I think the Red Bulls, that's going to be fascinating where they go. But I feel like there's been a general I think there's been a general lack of understanding of how competitive this league is top to bottom. 1 through 29 is not separated by much in this league. I thought Chicago was extremely reactionary. 3 weeks ago, they came to this stadium, only 1 loss on the year. They got a very, very unlucky loss here, start to tumble a little bit, and Ezra Hendrickson's gone. I think a mistake, and it's going to be fascinating now for me to see over the next couple weeks, does the trend continue? And did Peter Vermees perhaps stall or
Greg
put
Vanning
off the inevitable? Greg Vanning.
Bob Bradley.
And the Canadian Cup loss this week in Toronto, I think, could weigh very heavily on the future of him. So very, very interested to see what the next couple weeks turn out to be. And if we see some really good assistant coaches in this league get a chance to step up. And there's one here in Atlanta who I hope we can keep, because if I were Chicago, I'd be looking very, very hard at Rob Valentino right now. I hope we can keep him.
Yeah. Rob Valentino is going to be in demand when people start looking at assistant managers. My headline is also MLS related, and it's about that team number 30 that it looks like we might know who it is now in San Diego. We thought it was going to be Las Vegas. It sounded like everything was going to get done for Vegas. Things got held up. I think getting the stadium, getting things nailed down kind of got in the way. They'd even trademarked Las Vegas Villains. They were ready to roll, and then everything got quiet. San Diego has jumped ahead. They've got a good stadium. It sounds like they'll have a good situation with the stadium. And San Diego's an incredible soccer market. Now, they've got to compete not just with the other traditional sports in San Diego, but also Xolos in Tijuana, because there's a huge Xolos fan base on that side of the border in San Diego. But I guess my big take on it is that they're not going to stop there. There's going to be 2 more. Vegas will fight for it. Phoenix will fight for it. I think there's going to be somebody in the East, though.
I think Detroit
would be one.
Indianapolis, if they make their stadium a little bigger.
Indianapolis and Louisville, I think, are two like kind of wild card at if the money can come together. But I think there's going to be somebody that's a surprise because we're seeing J.J. Watt buy into Burnley. We're seeing what Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are doing. Somebody's going to say, you know what, I could do that here. And yes, it's probably going to be a bigger ticket price, definitely going to be a bigger ticket price, but you have a lot more security and it is growing. And a few years ahead of the World Cup, that ticket price is going to be a lot less now than it will be after to buy a team. So it's going to be interesting, but MLS is in a really good spot. And I think San Diego will absolutely raise it to another level. All right, the way we always close out AST is with something that made us smile about the game lately in the last week, whatever. Nick, what has made you smile about soccer lately?
You want me to say something positive?
Yes, that's why I started with you, because it might be difficult.
My God, that's a very difficult question. All right?
I know, I'm forcing you into come on, you can do it.
Come on, Sam, you got this. You got this.
He can do it.
All right. What really makes me happy is that, and it's going to be cheap heat. This is cheap heat, right? It's a cheap pop. Everybody here tonight. All right. I don't care. Look, I will go Dusty Rhodes because here's the thing. I may not look like the athlete of the day. My belly may just be a little big. My honey may be a little big, but I am bad, Daddy, and you know it. So look, the fact that we can be on so many different sides of where we think our team may be, the future of our team, right? The progress that they've made, we can have very, very different opinions about this. But we all sit here, we're eating food, we're drinking beer, we're having a good time. And to me, that's the beautiful part of this game, because if you go all the way back,
kiss ass.
If you go back to like the coffee shops in Austria, when they would have slap drag out fights over the way the game should be played. In Argentina, slap drag out fights over the way the game should be played. Here, we're sitting here, we're talking. I talked to someone who was in Isle of Hope, where my mom grew up, right? That's amazing. We have people here from Bergen County, New Jersey. Look, it's a beautiful thing, right? We're all here because of the game we love. And to me, that is what made me smile this week in soccer. Thank you. I love
you. Nick, you're going to have to explain Dusty Rhodes to Jess here at some point. And we need to record this conversation because she was very confused.
I have no idea what's going on.
I need a video of this. Like the videos of people reacting to songs from 20 years ago, we need Jess reacting to Dusty Rhodes promos. Oh, God. Print money with this content, definitely. John, what made you smile?
All right, I actually did the research on this, so let me get
You did research on what made you smile?
Yeah, because it's a common theme. Efforty,
okay.
Please hold. Mike, can you play some hold music?
Uh-oh.
Yes, but what is with these guys?
Okay, here we go. All right.
He's Carrot Top now. He has props.
What do these cities in the state of Georgia all have in common? Jason, you probably know the answer.
Okay.
Evans, Gainesville, Augusta, Hiawassee, Milledgeville, Reedsville, Bremen, Watkinsville, and Dalton. What do all those cities have in common?
Well, I know because I was involved in a little bit of that.
Yes.
So was Jess.
Close. Well, actually, you're right. All of those cities in the state of Georgia, from basically the swamp to the mountains, had high schools playing for state championships in 2023. And that's outside the city of Atlanta. Those cities had high schools playing for state championships. And as someone who has covered high school athletics in this state for 30 years, I started when I was 7. To see the growth of the sport of soccer to where you're having Towns County chasing after a championship. You have Tattnall County chasing after a championship. You've got 3 schools in Dalton chasing a championship. To see where the growth of the sport has come on both the boys and the girls side here in the state of Georgia should be proud. You've got nationally ranked teams on a bunch of different classifications, and the fact that everything from the coast to the mountains is chasing after titles, it's very, very cool, and that always makes me smile.
Mike, what made you smile about this game over the past week or just in general?
I'm going to go way off the board. I love what Nick
There's
and
no
John are
board.
saying. No, I can't follow that. You're right, but I'm going to go in a totally different direction. Yes, that makes me smile too. NWSL getting things sorted out now to the point where they're ready to aggressively expand.
Yeah,
really good sign. I feel like it's been kind of waiting, hesitation. Is it the right time to get into the league? Do they still have things to sort out? You know, I watched an NWSL match between San Diego and DC on Saturday, and Trinity Rodman bossing that game. Ooh. And it was a very compelling 90-minute watch. And, you know, to an extent, you could even argue the NWSL right now with their TV deal might be very well positioned for immediate future growth. I just thought it was really cool that now we're pushing forward.
Yeah.
And what I hope is eventually, maybe not in this round of expansion, but soon, Atlanta NWSL is going to be a huge thing.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
I think we're starting to get – I think the momentum is increasing.
Yeah.
And that made me smile this week.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to happen. No question. I don't know when, but it's going to happen for sure. Jarrett, what made you smile?
We are going to go to Scotland now. You're welcome.
Oh, boy.
No, this is good. This is good.
It's about the split.
It better not be about the split.
The split is involved, but it's indirectly involved. Scotland has been behind the curve on a lot of things. Women's football is one of them, but they are catching up. This week, Celtic played Glasgow City. You saw Glasgow City, traditionally a women's powerhouse in Scotland. They've won like 15 titles in a row. They went full Atlanta Braves. Celtic and Glasgow City drew almost 10,000 people to their game at Celtic Park. Not playing at a second facility, playing at Celtic Park and pushing for the what is the Jock Stein Inn to now become a safe standing section. And it was an amazing environment. It was a 3-1 win for Celtic. And you're seeing more and more growth, more and more investment in the women's game in Scotland. Aberdeen this week deciding to post their women's manager's job as a full-time job, because previously it was posted as a part-time job for like 25 hours a week. Now it is showing as full-time, and they're taking it more seriously. Also, if you want to see a good race to end the season, there are 2 games left in the Scottish Women's League. Glasgow City's at 95 points. Celtic and Rangers are at 93. They have 2 games left, all of them. Rangers and Glasgow City play each other on decision day, depending on how the goals break. Rangers, if they win that game but they don't blow out Glasgow City, might hand the title to Celtic. And if they win it and blow them out, they might win it outright, or Glasgow City might win it. It's a great title race, and people are actually getting more involved. The fans are diving into it and trying to force more positive change.
Nice. Where can we watch this?
You can't. Not here.
Not that much fun.
All right.
Look, no,
send me offline where I can find these links that I need to have good virus protection on my computer.
Yeah. You're gonna need a VPN and some bleach.
Okay. Great. Duct tape and a VPN.
It's a huge issue in Scotland that Sky Sports doesn't take any of the Scottish League seriously, men's or women's. They don't broadcast the games enough. You can find them on Paramount Plus here or on CBS Sports Network, whatever, but it's hard to find those games. It sucks, but it's gaining steam.
Jess, what made you smile?
I was going to protect myself and be silly and say Ted Lasso because I think that's really funny. I do love that show. I think it's the perfect clash of cultures, but I'm going to be real here. This is a really special week for me. For those that don't know my story, played college in Atlanta, interned at that stadium. Anyone that's seen the football helmets? I drove around the state of Georgia collecting football helmets to put in that stadium. I worked for Soccer in the Streets, and now my worlds get to collide with an incredible job at Charlotte Football Club, who's done an amazing, amazing job of building an atmosphere in Charlotte as well. Charlotte FC fans that are here, thank you so much. You guys are absolutely incredible. There's someone with a t-shirt with my name on it. That is like surreal as hell.
That's awesome.
And tomorrow is a really, really special day for me because when I was interning at that stadium, it was like a dream to call a game. You know, like I never thought it would be possible to call a professional game. And now I do that for my living. A lot of that is big thanks to mentorship with guys up here. So, yeah, tomorrow, regardless of the result, regardless of the game, is an incredibly special moment for me. And I'm really blessed to have everybody here. So thank you.
How do I
Double fist.
Yeah. Two microphones for me. That's the last thing we need. How do I get a Jess Charman t-shirt? Will you send me the link? Do you have a discount code or something? Or
no discounts.
Olive in New York? Okay.
Olive in New York.
It says I have the most annoying voice in radio history.
Oh, yeah. Well,
everyone hates my voice.
Well, we all love your voice. Great shirt.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, then I will pay full price. Yes. Proceeds go to the Anton Walks Foundation. So yes. I will pay full price for that. So.
Go to Olive in York, buy the shirt, support Anton's foundation and family. That's something for me that's always going to hang over this match, I think in a good way, once we get a little bit further down the road. We were both really lucky, both clubs, to have somebody like Anton Walks in both clubs. And, you know, Jess and I, like, you called me when the news broke and we talked about it, and it was going to resonate in both locker rooms, and it has. And I think it's had an effect on both team seasons this year throughout the board. But that was a guy who was beloved by both clubs, by both fan bases. And I hope that it's something that can be a marker for this part of the Southern rivalry with Atlanta and Charlotte. And I hope that the fan bases can always come together to do something really good in his name every year. So I'll end real quick with my thing that's made me smile about the game lately. And then Scott's got an announcement for everybody. For me, it was actually last week. It was a crazy week. I called 8 GHSA soccer state championship games in 4 days. It was nuts. We were really lucky that, one, we were able to get Jess on some of the games, and that was a blast. And we got to do games in Duluth, where it became a little bit easier travel for the teams that were going to come there. And the Dalton Midtown game is one that I will always remember. One, Dalton's just an incredible soccer culture and team. And if you don't know the story, there's a New York Times article about it. It's amazing. 3 state championship teams out of the Dalton area this year. And they traveled in numbers to Duluth for that game. And Midtown, first final for them, huge turnout for them and their fans and their families. But the fact that we're calling the game, and it was a great match. It was scoreless through regulation time. And people were gravitating back to the booth so they could hear us yelling about this game that was going on in front of them. That's the coolest thing that's ever happened.
They also
than me calling games.
Boomsticks. It was pretty cool how many boomsticks they had.
They luckily did not have the vuvuzelas. They had boomsticks. Boomsticks are cool. Vuvuzelas, please, no, never again vuvuzelas. I hate vuvuzelas.
Is that boom
no
yakamaka sticks, or is it just boomsticks?
They don't.
Nothing.
We'll have to teach the Dalton folks the Greek a little bit. They don't know that yet. But it was just amazing for people to be gravitating around the window to hear us calling a game, not on a radio, not on TV, but literally us just yelling about that game.
Just edging gradually closer to the booth. It was very subtle, but we loved to see it.
It was nuts. It was so cool. And it's what is so amazing about what's happening. And all of you who are here are a big part of that, because it's every level of soccer in Atlanta and in Georgia that is in a completely different place every year. More little kids are playing than ever before. The older kids are getting better coaching, better opportunities. They're signing professional contracts. We watched the Atlanta United U16s this morning, and they're at a level that's just insane for 14 and 15-year-olds. to be able to see that the high school game is growing, the women's game is growing, the college games that we get a chance to call are just at a whole nother level, and the atmosphere in the stadium every week because of all of y'all. Thank you for being part of it, and thank you for elevating everything to where it is. Scott has an announcement to make first before we grab a couple questions.
Do I get to say what I'm happy for?
Well, I think you're happy about the announcement.
So I'm just happy you're done.
Wow. Wow.
I like Mike's voice better.
Now I see how it is.
Mike, I'm going to take a second real quick. I will tell you what I'm happy for. I'm happy to see every one of your faces here tonight. Absolutely. You need to know something. You're the best soccer crowd fans in this country. Act like it. Do it. Keep doing it. Okay? This is why we keep doing what we're trying to do. We've got stuff. I see Bart Keeler in the crowd. Lisa Wilder over here. We've got United States. How many people went to the United States-England game that we did at Wild Heaven last year? Anybody? All right. Thank you. We're going to be doing a lot more of those things. This is the best market, and we want this entire country to know that Atlanta is where soccer lives in this country. So the two Charlotte fans that said that there was 30 of their friends coming that apparently never showed up. I'm sorry.
7.
You're 5 friends. Sorry. I was rounding down. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Scott, your tires are going to get slashed in the parking lot.
I know where he lives.
Again? All right. So, but I want to say that I see Reggie from Footy Mob here. I see Terminus Legion represented here with all their chapters from Athens, Peachtree City, everywhere that they come from. I know that Faction is here. I see them. We know that our friends with All Stripes, there might not be a lot of people, but they had a big function that they had to do tonight, but they were here in full support in heart and thought. I see all of you here, and that's what makes the difference. Resurgent folks, I've seen Faction folks, I've seen everybody. We are the best soccer fans in this country. Act like it.
Close your ears, Jess.
For the crown, baby.
Did you get any food yet?
I haven't eaten.
Oh my God. All right. So real quick. So there is a point to all this.
I love cookout.
I do want to take a second. I want to thank the people that help us do all of this. Our friends at Kaiser Permanente. You see them all over the place. My God, they help us tremendously. Our friends at Subaru of Gwinnett. They're sitting right there. She told me that I can tell everybody they're giving cars half off just tonight. You need to get out to Subaru of Gwinnett within the next 35 minutes.
I'm in.
Yeah, nice try, right? Our friends at Kickoff Coffee. We've got some friends from Monster Energy Drink in the crowd right over here, too. We've got a lot of people tonight. Our folks from Chattahoochee Food Works, Thierry, I see you in the back over there. Our friends at Wild Heaven Brewery that put the brew in tonight are some of our best friends. I want to thank all of you for everything that we do up here. It wouldn't be possible without you. That being said, we do have a very fun announcement. The very place that we're sitting in, Reverb here by Hard Rock, is now officially one of our main partners of the show. And in that, what we are going to be doing is enhancing your game day experience that much more. We are going to start a 1 hour to hour and a half game day show here at Reverb every single Saturday game day that Mike Conti promises he's going to be at every one of them. Big liar. Yeah. He's to my face. He said it. See, he said it. So we're going to start here at 1 o'clock on Saturday game days on this roof with the show. The entire crew is going to do a recap and get you ready for that game. When we get done, just in time to head down to the supporter tailgate. In the supporter tailgate, Reverb will be there as well. And every Saturday game, which believe it or not, we only have 5 left. Saturday, 7:30 games. But those 5 games, Reverb is going to be giving away and raffling off a night here at the hotel, $50 food and beverage, and free parking on a game night, so
Can I
that
win?
you on a future, so you can come do the game. Just get okay.
Responsibly.
Children in the crowd, right?
Yeah, be careful, Scott.
You can enjoy yourself. We couldn't be happier about this. The entire Reverb family here, Derek Sumter, the GM, helped make this possible. There's going to be a lot of exciting things that we're going to do each one of those game days. We're going to feature other craft breweries here in Georgia and Atlanta to help those small businesses. We are excited to bring those people along. Again, I want to thank Jess. I want to thank Mike. I want to thank everybody up here that is doing the show. You make it what it is. We can't thank you all enough for fighting traffic and Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Can I make the joke? I can't make that joke. I'm not going to make that joke.
Lots
I won't
of
make
traffic.
that. Don't make that
Lots
joke.
of traffic.
Don't make
Scott,
damn
keep moving.
Democrats holding up traffic. So, but again, thank every one of you. Some of you and many of you that I have talked to tonight. You're here all the time. We could not do this without you. I am so happy that I know you. I'm so happy that I'm a part of your family as far as Atlanta United and this team and soccer. Everything that Jason has talked about, that John was talking about with our high schools, and everything about this sport in this state, in this city, is growing to lengths that I think the rest of this country needs to know about and know that we are, like I said, we are the best at it in this country. And I expect the world to see it come 2026.
Thank you, Scott. And we don't get to do what we do if you don't go out and pound the pavement and make these partnerships for us. So, Scott, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. I'm really afraid to do this, but I'm going to give it a shot. We will take a couple of questions, if you have them, before we go. You have to walk up to the table because Scott.
No pressure.
Where's Eric Dean? Eric,
Yes,
come on,
Eric
dude.
always
He's got
has a
like
question,
if you're,
and
he's got
it's
one.
always weird.
He's got one of those jackass. If you were a tree, what kind would you be? Questions.
No,
Come
it's
on,
like
Peachtree
it
Corners,
usually
don't get
has
shy
like
now.
5 different like Google sheets to it with an
Oh, look,
explanation.
he's coming. Look, hey!
I knew he'd have one.
Come on, everybody! Come on, cheer him! Come on, Eric! Come on, Eric!
All right, Eric, we're ready. What do you got?
Okay, so I actually don't have a question.
What?
I'm sorry. I didn't think we were doing questions tonight.
What?
What? I have to think of these well in advance.
They're very detailed.
But I mean, okay, so I'm just gonna turn this and say that I'm very proud of everything that this has turned into. I'm proud of Scott, you guys. It's just been a great journey. Excited about tomorrow, obviously. You're gonna lose.
Wow. He doesn't have a question, he just comes up to talk trash.
But yes.
Where did our Charlotte fans go? They disappeared suddenly.
They're getting reinforcements.
And of course, shout out to 92.9 The Game.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was waiting on a crazy question. All right, if we don't have any crazy questions, we will. Oh, Bart's got one.
Come on, Bart.
DeAndre's got one too.
Come on,
Okay,
Bart.
you guys. I mean, you 3 can get a question, and that'll do it for the night. Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. All right. Hi. Hi.
Say hi to DeAndre.
Okay. So, I heard that Alonso is training again with Atlanta United.
He is.
Obviously needs to get his fitness back.
Yeah.
Ideally, once his fitness is back, what is the ideal Atlanta United midfield?
Wow. I don't know when we're going to even have that become part of the equation, honestly, because it's been so long for him coming back from this knee injury that I think they'll be really careful. I don't know if he'll start like as a regular this season. I don't know if he'll get back to that point, honestly, because of the competition and just because they're going to be careful with him. But can he be a closer late in games pretty quickly? Yeah. And I think that's where he's going to impact it the most. He'll be the first sub off the bench when the game is level or Atlanta's leading, probably in the next month, maybe. Is that quick he'll be back? And he'll be in that rotation. Like, I don't know if there is a best 11, honestly, or a best midfield for Atlanta United, because I think it'll be different for different opponents. Form will vary it. I mean, Sejdic, Hosechu are both playing really well and both competing for that spot. Same with Sosa and Ibarra. Obviously, Thiago's Thiago, and that's a whole different planet. But Alonso will have to come in, and he'll compete in both spots because he can play the 8, he can play the 6. You're not going to play a true double pivot. So, honestly, I think what Alonso does is he's going to be a sub in every game he's available for to close it out and to change it. And that's the role I think he's going to have this season.
I only say that because I know how important his leadership is on the field. So, especially with how fragile this team seems to be, I feel his leadership is crucial for what this team wants to get to at the end of the season.
Yeah, just getting him. I mean, Mike, we've seen it, and we saw it early last year, and it was only early last year. But just having him in the group when we travel,
absolutely,
like, it's a whole nother level.
Get him on the road.
Yeah.
I hope, even if he doesn't play, I hope he makes the trip next week to Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, and it seems like it's advancing to that point now where that might be possible.
Yep.
And maybe he's your 21st guy, who he might not
for
make
another
the match
couple
day
weeks,
20,
yeah.
but he needs to be in this group.
Yeah.
He brings out a lot of joy in this group. And by the way, to answer DeAndre's question, to me right now, it's Ibarra, Hosechu, Almada.
Man, I don't know.
Right
I
now,
can't even settle
today.
for that. I honestly don't know.
Well, no, but this is a good problem to have. I mean,
it's what you want.
On form, it might be Sosa over Ibarra right now because Ibarra's missed a couple matches. On form, it could be Sejdic over Hosechu. It could be.
I will go Ibarra in general because I think the physicality that he's brought this year has elevated the team in a big way. I mean, the Charlotte game when he made the tackle on Copetti at midfield, like that set a tone. And that's what you have to have. Hey, I'm going to bring that up every chance. But no, I think the other spot is completely up for grabs because Amar Sejdic is having the best season of his career. And talk about another underappreciated guy. He's one of the smartest players that I've ever had the chance to talk to. He gets the game. He's so technical, and he's been so scrappy when he's needed to be right now. So I think it might be Sejdic over Hosechu, and I'm a big Hosechu supporter. So I think it's just going to rotate, just depending on form. Sejdic did lead to that first goal in Charlotte. If he has a hand in a goal tomorrow, I'd be very happy. All right, next question.
Hello, good evening. I heard earlier today that Garth Lagerwey was talking about getting 2 or 3 signings in the summer. What do you think those signings are going to be?
2 or 3 signings this summer. Oof. I don't know who they would. Who they would be. I have no idea. What you got?
Do we have to identify a specific person or just position?
Maybe a role.
Position.
Yeah, position, a role. Okay. Mike, I mean, you there's been one that you have
backup striker.
Yeah,
backup striker. To me, I think it's a glaring issue right now.
I don't hate the idea about certain Dom Dwyer that is being yelled out from the crowd.
He might even be here. Who knows? I mean, apparently he's been
Dom,
in town.
show yourself.
Dom Dwyer, identify yourself if you're in the room. No, I mean, look.
Dom might be at the Mary J. Blige concert. You're right.
He might be.
Dom's a big Jodeci fan, I hear.
Now, caveat, if Eric Lopez can get healthy
100%.
and return to form, then I think it becomes a little less urgent. But, just unfortunately right now, it has not worked out with Miguel Berry, and Machope is learning kind of on the fly.
On the job.
So I think backup striker. But look, I mean, if you're talking about 2 or 3 incomings this summer, what's happening to Thiago Almada? Because I think that is the key, and I don't think they're going to sell Almada. Even if they get a price that they're willing to get out of bed for, I don't think they jump to make that sale unless they feel very strongly that they have a central attacking midfielder identified that they can bring in
get it done.
And get it done. And because this team is on the verge, and I know it doesn't feel like it in the recent form, this team can absolutely win the MLS Cup this year.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's their mentality. They're not going to sell Almada and reduce their chances of being able to accomplish that if they don't have someone else identified.
If it's 3, I'll go quick. I think it would be 1, either keeping Almada or replacing him, depending on that deal. That's the number 1 priority. 2, backup striker. Yeah, I think you're going to need one. And 3, the wild card would be a TAM winger if you can squeeze it under the cap. And I think that's the one that if the right fit is there and you can bring somebody in to compete with Araujo, with Etienne, with Chol, with Wolf, with Wiley on the wing, I think that might be the spot where you go from being a possible MLS Cup contender if everything lines up, which I think you're in, to if you get the right winger, I think you're a Cup contender straight away.
Definitely. Thank you for answering my
No
question.
problem. No, thanks for the question. All right, I guess we've got Bart. Are you asking a question? You were running up here a second ago. You got nothing. All right, we got 2 then.
Well, hold on. One thing is for the Almada deal, don't overlook the fact that he could be sold to a team and loaned back.
That's what I think happens.
To Atlanta. So if he goes to Napoli, he's not coming back.
No, I honestly could see that happening because here's the deal, and God, now I'm drawing a blank on who it was who had this happen. If you do it late, if that drags on and it's a lot of negotiation and it's done in August, he's missed the entire preseason where he's going. It's better for him to stay. Georgi Mihailovic.
Yeah.
Mihailovic went late. It was better for him to stay, finish the year in Montreal, then go, and it worked out really well. That's what I think happens with Thiago.
And if you make the price right for Aurelio De Laurentiis, the owner of Napoli, he'll be more open to a deal like that because he has a good team that he has good chemistry with. He doesn't necessarily feel like he has to make any hard replacements at the moment. So it's something where he could make that move, loan him back, and then you'd be all right if Napoli is the team.
2 more questions. Tom Russo, what you got?
All right. Jason has already answered this question for me. This is outside of MLS. I want to know who, and I need to get Bart up here to answer this question as well. Outside of Pep, who would be the pipe dream for all of us, he did say he wants to coach a national team, and he said 23, but he's signed a new contract. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe if they win Champions League, maybe he decides to move on. Who would you all like to see as coach of the USMNT?
Wow. We're going to steal him from Celtic? You're going to be okay with that? Yeah. Okay. Jess, who would you like to see in charge of the U.S. men's national team?
Jose Mourinho. Just for the drama and the press conferences and to laugh from an English perspective. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I will agree. I will agree with Jess and say Jose Mourinho, and he'd have to be based out of California. He loves the United States. He speaks the language perfectly well. He would give the boost of confidence needed for this team to be able to come in and say you can compete with anybody because I've coached half of the clowns you're going to be going against. That's the guy who you need to bring in.
How long does it take to convert to U.S. citizenship, and can Messi be a player coach? I think that would actually no. I mean, obviously, Tata makes a lot of sense, but yeah, right. I think he's done. I think he's been there. He's done that. Boy. Not Jesse Marsh. No. Not who? No, not Jim Curtin. I don't want to see the national team play in that way. And that's where someone like a Tata would make a lot of sense. Where I want to see the U.S. men's national team play that kind of free flowing, fun. Oh boy, I would need some time to really think about this. I like the idea of an American-born manager if you can find that. Peter Vermees, his name always seems to come up, but I don't know about now. This is a really tough question. It's a great question, Tom. Maybe Cherundolo, maybe, yeah, in 2030. Too early, maybe. Pass.
No, for me, it's Ange Postecoglou, who managed Australia, and when he did, showed he can be more pragmatic as a manager. Australia is a really weird place to manage because there is a huge issue with an old boys club, like almost beyond what the United States deals with. But Postecoglou plays that sort of that approach he wants the ball. If he doesn't have it, he's going to take it away from you with the high press. I think the U.S. has the athletes and the skill players to make that happen. And they have the players. If you look at the way that they play right now, I think he has the players in the U.S. pool to fit that with the way they like to get their eights hitting those channels. Weston McKennie feasting in those channels would be beautiful. I would sacrifice my fanhood for it. Absolutely.
I mean, I'd love for it to be Guardiola. I know it's not going to happen, but you never know. He likes New York City. He likes to hang. You give him something at Central Park West. Give him something that's 7 figures. Gets to hang out. Yeah. I mean, I'd love for that to happen. I think Cherundolo 2030. I think I'd love to see that happen too. I know that Bart and I talked about this actually on the show in the Reffing Down Here segment. So I'm going to wait for his answer as well. But I'll go Guardiola then Cherundolo. I would whatever I have to do to get Chuck Blazer's old apartment to Pep Guardiola for him to take the job. Yes, we'll fumigate it. Everything we got to do to make it Pep-centric will be good. All right, Bart, do you have an answer? Share your answer, and then we've got one more question.
Oh, by the way, Sixers in 7.
Oh, jeez.
So my answer is Patrick Vieira, because I think he would genuinely be up for the challenge and be
Vieira.
Tactically astute enough to give us some structure, but also understand that the international game is not about tactics and more about mentality and motivation. And I think that would be, I mean, he's out of a job.
Yeah.
I don't think he lost the Crystal Palace job because he was doing badly. It's just what happens with Crystal Palace.
Right.
They say, hey, Roy Hodgson's available. We'll go hire him.
Yes.
The other option is Serena Biegman. Steal her away before England goes to the World Cup this summer. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Last one, Ricky. What up, Ricky Ricardo?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So I want to kind of echo sentiments from earlier. I've been listening to this show since like episode 2 of the show, like when it was in podcast form, like in 2016. So this is crazy to think that we're doing this with a bunch of people. So thank you for everything that you've done. You've made my mornings like good. Like I really appreciate everything that y'all do. So my question is, and I guess it's not really all that crazy. So we know Almada's leaving. We know it's going to happen at some point, whenever that makes sense. So where do you want him to go?
Where do we want him to go? I like that.
Not where you think makes sense, who has the money. Where do you want him to go?
Where do you want Thiago Almada to go?
You can be as selfish as you want to be, but I mean, within reason, but where do you want him to go?
Italy? I'd be fine with Napoli. I think Napoli would be a good place for him. Nick, you want him at Milan?
No, Almada to Napoli finishes the story where he gets to go to a place where he would be revered. If he went to Milan, if he went to Inter, if he went to Juve, he would be just another kid coming in with a mountain of expectations and not a lot of love behind it. And as much as I would want him to wear the red and black, I don't want that for him. In Naples, they would paint murals for him.
Yeah.
They would have parades in the street for him. He would be loved. He would be adored. They have a relationship with Argentine players to begin with, obviously. Just keep him away from the Camorra. Keep him away from the Camorra. Please, God, keep him away from the Camorra. Keep him away from those guys, and it's going to be magical what he can do there.
Mike, what about you?
Well, I'm trying to look up the table in Spain.
I don't hate Spain.
Who's 3rd or 4th right now in Spain that would be in Champions League? Is Atletico in there? Like,
I don't want him to go to Atleti.
I'm going to rule out Barca and Real Madrid just for a moment. So
at Barca, Thiago at Barca.
I'm going to rule that out, though. I'm going to say that's a little lofty.
Oh,
but
I wasn't even thinking that. But yeah.
Okay, so Real Madrid is 3rd. Who's 2nd? Atletico. I think Atletico. You don't want him there? You don't like the style?
No. But the price point, guys. Barcelona now is not Barcelona then. The piggy bank is not like scraping empty. The price point for Thiago Almada makes a ton of sense for Barcelona because they can't spend 50, 60 million on a player. 20, 30,
Europa.
they can do that. 40, maybe.
Villarreal would be a lot of fun too. They're not going to be in Champions League. They're going to be in Europa. But I think a Spanish Champions League side would be great for him. I don't know. I don't want to see him in Germany.
No.
I don't want to see him get kicked.
I don't want to see him in Germany or England. I want to see him somewhere where he's going to have space to play.
I think he's above the level of France.
Yeah,
right now.
There's not a compelling spot there.
Villarreal would be a lot of fun. I like that. That's a good shout.
I don't want him in England at all.
No.
Villarreal for me.
Villarreal's a good call because it's similar to Napoli in that you have a beloved Argentine connection at Villarreal in Juan Roman Riquelme, who is one of Thiago's idols. Like, I want Thiago to go somewhere where he's going to be appreciated. I hope that other people feel this way. Like, just getting a chance to see him represent the city and to call games that he plays in, I don't know if we'll ever see a better player. Like, I'm not trying to exaggerate his ability or any of that. He might be the best player that we ever see in this city. He is that good. And I want him to go somewhere where he gets to play his football. And Barcelona would be amazing. I hadn't even really considered it. But, yeah, that would be great. Napoli would be great. Villarreal would be great. And he would come in with, I think, a lot of responsibility somewhere at Villarreal. Napoli and Barca would be a different conversation. But, yeah, I mean, any of those three, I'm going to be happy to watch him and support him. And I think he's going to enjoy his football and get to play his game.
You could convince me that Barcelona's the move after the move. That he went to a Napoli, he went to a Valencia, he went to a Sociedad, wherever the hell it may be, that he goes there, plays, and then gets that move to a Barca level.
He could, but Barca's not what they were. I mean, Nick's dead on. And if you get Thiago Almada to somebody like Xavi, and you let Xavi work on molding Thiago's game, like Thiago's an amazing 10. In a team like that, well, yeah, in a team like that, he could be an Iniesta kind of player, like that kind of an 8 that can sit a little bit deeper. We know he can defend and can pick out those passes. And, hey, if Barca, gets rid of enough money on their books and they bring Lionel Messi in as well, I would love to watch that team. All right, look, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much to everybody for coming out to Reverb and hanging out with us on the rooftop. We will be back for 7:30 Saturday night games. We'll be here at 1 o'clock, so you can kind of start your day with us before you hit the tailgates. Thanks to all the Atlanta United supporters groups for turning out and spreading the word and supporting everything that we're doing. Thank you for growing the culture. Thanks to all the Charlotte fans who turned out, coming out and supporting this. This is a rivalry that's special because of the interaction between the two fan bases, and I love that we have that. And Scott came charging up here with something else to say.
What's up, Mike? Reverb, first home game that we're doing the show here, June 10th. I believe that's DC United. June 10th. Look for it. You can win free nights here at the tailgate. Come on now.
Thanks, everybody. Mucha plata, y'all.